Hello, this is Brian from Finish the Race Fitness, and I'm doing a coaching video. And today's topic is growing up poor. Let's right off the bat, let's not kid ourselves. I didn't grow up. I'm not trying to compare myself to people who grew up in the third world or parts of the Middle East or parts of the world that I would have no understanding about what really poor means. What I'm saying is I grew up in a part of Ontario in a neighborhood where we were living in a place called social housing, government Ontario housing, and this housing was provided to people who had low income. So it was a network of families brought together that were assessed by the government to be able to live there due to a low income. My parents worked hard. Both of them did work. They provided for me. I didn't go without shelter. I didn't go without food. I didn't go without clothing. So this is not a sob story, but what the purpose of this video is to say that growing up, even in a social housing situation, does not define your future, and you could still move forward beyond such things, of course. So what does it mean to grow up in social housing, and how does it change you? Number one, it makes you tougher, okay, in multiple different ways, in multiple different facets. So number one, going to the park is even a risk. And I don't mean for drive-by shootings. I didn't grow up in Chicago. I didn't grow up in LA. But I did grow up in a place where if you went to the park, you were at risk of bullies. You were at risk of getting beaten up. This was just the kinds of people that hung out at the park. You know, the older teenagers there, they didn't mess around, okay? So you knew as a young child, if you wanted to go to the park, you were at risk to get roughed up, okay? This is very common to a lot of you who did grow up in places like that, okay? Number two, there was drugs prevalent at these parks. There was alcohol prevalent at these parks. And I'm not just talking at nighttime, at daytime. You wouldn't dare go there as a 10-year-old, 11 or 12-year-old at nighttime. But it just changes things in your life because it makes you more aware of scenarios. So even today, to this day and age, I am more aware of situations where people who grew up in areas where maybe they didn't have to pay attention more wouldn't be aware of scenarios which could be a dangerous scenario. So that's how it changes you. It makes you tougher. It makes you more vigilant. You know, growing up poor makes you tougher in different ways. That story that you hear of parents walking both ways to school through the snow 10 miles both ways uphill, in my scenario was true. And just to show you, I'm going to put a graph up on the screen right here, is I walked to high school 4.4 kilometers every single day to and from my home, okay? And here's the map as you see there. So Canada in December, Canada in January, Canada in February, Canada in March aren't fun places to walk 8.8 kilometers in a day. So it makes you tougher growing up in these situations. Number two, it makes you more appreciative of things, okay? When you got a gift, when you got a toy, when you got something that stood out, a new pair of sneakers, you took the best care of them you possibly could because you appreciated them, because you knew that wasn't coming around again until next Christmas, next birthday. This wasn't habitual in the home, you know? So I was telling a friend the other day, I have a Guess, and Guess was the brand back in the day, a Guess dress shirt that I've had for 15 years, and you would think that this thing is brand new. It's still in what we would say mint condition. So it makes you more appreciative when you grow up in a lower income home. Number three, we used our imagination more. We didn't have the resources to have all the gadgets and all the toys and the what were the toys of the day? The remote control cars, even the video game systems. I didn't get till later in life. My friends had them much earlier than I did, but we did things that we used our imagination. A cardboard box could go a mile back in our day. I'll give you an example. We used to use an air mattress, not an air mattress, sorry, water bed mattress without water in it we made an amusement ride in my backyard. We had a picnic table. We blew up the water bed mattress with air. We would sit the young kids on the front of the mattress, and the larger kids would jump off the picnic table, hence jump down on the air mattress and catapult the young kids into the air, arms, legs going everywhere. There were some injuries. Yes, there were some injuries, but that was our form of amusement back in the day because we would come up with things from our imagination. And lastly, but not leastly, it made me more resourceful. I recall in high school, I would go to school without lunch. And this isn't because I was poor and my parents didn't provide lunch. I didn't, like I could have made my own sandwiches. A bit of laziness comes into this too, but me and my friends were so resourceful that we would have a dozen of us. We would go to Taco Bell, and we would get the one guy who had a job out of the dozen of us would buy a pop, and the pop was of course free refills. So he would get the first root beer, then he'd pass it on down the line. The next guy would get a Coke and a Sprite. So we'd get our calories through this sugar and this cola, and we'd also engage ourselves in eating the hot and mild sauce, depending on what you could handle. So we were very resourceful. We would also go into the cafeteria and sort of panhandle for coins. And some of you who went to high school with me will probably chuckle, because we would beg people for coins, and then the dozen of us would stand around one pack of French fries just to get 4 or 5 each to get some calories and nutrients in us. So growing up poor made us tougher, made us more appreciative of things, made us more imaginative, and also made us more resourceful. So the purpose of this video is to say that no matter where you come from, you could use the skills that you had learned as a youngster to your advantage. So God bless you. Thanks for listening. And once again, it's Ryan from Finish the Race Fitness. Have a great day.